Hi guys, are you looking for more problems to try to interpret what's going to be on the June SAT, specifically the math portion? Well, we've got some problems for you. Before you check out this video, make sure to check out part one if you haven't done so. You can find it either on the description below or a link somewhere around here where you can click it and then check it out to see what kinds of problems we reviewed previously for the same exact exam. Before we get started, a couple things. Hit that like and subscribe button and make sure to click this video specifically and hit that like button if you want more content just like this. Okay, let's get started. So in previous test exams, what was found were functions. This was a key problem found in previous exams in the same year as this year. And because of this, I do think they're going to continue to do that, especially utilizing multiple variables where you can't just type it into Desmos. An example of this is when they tell you there's a function and they let you know the values of the function when one value equals another, and then what's the value when they're added together. So, for example, if you go ahead and check out this video, we see here that they tell you they need to figure out what the value of a plus b is. Now, you're going to go ahead and try to solve for the missing variable, plugging these values. First, let's check out this first function here. So we know that the value of y equals 7, and then this equals x. So we can go ahead and say 4 times a, because we're plugging it into this original function, f of x being the same value as y, or 7, and then the x value being 4, and then going ahead and plugging in the rest. Now remember, x is the same thing as saying 4, right? So we can also replace that x with 4 to then give you 2. So we're going ahead and saying that 7 equals this value right here. Now let's do the same for the other function given the values of this function when f of 6 equals 5. Just like before, we have 5 equals plugging in the values of 6 for each of the x's shown here. So 6a plus b divided by, now remember, it is 5 minus 2. So we can go ahead, or 6 minus 2. So we can go ahead and say to ourselves, what's 6 minus 2? That's going to be 4. Now you can go ahead and say that you have your two functions, and you can simplify this further by cross multiplying for both of these. In other words, we're saying 14 equals 4a plus b. And we can go ahead and say we could also take a look at this and cross multiply and say 20 equals 6a plus b. So now that we've gone and tackled that, you can go ahead and think to yourself, if I go ahead and simplify this further, what can I do to make this a little bit more simplistic? Noting that we have 14 equals 4a plus b, well, we can go ahead and take both of them and set them equal to each other. So we can say, in other words, 14 minus 4a equals 20 minus 6a. Basically, just replacing b with our values. We can go ahead and solve for a, essentially, saying that we take plus 4a plus 4a minus 20 on both sides. That is going to be the same as negative 6 equals negative 2a. And therefore, if we divide by negative 2, then a is going to give you 3. So now we know that a equals 3. But remember, what we're trying to find is the value of 3 being the X or A. Then we have to go ahead and find out what B is. How would we do that simplistically? You can plug it into any of these values. So 6 times 3 is 18 equals 20 plus B. B is going to give you 2. So 2. 3 plus 2 is 5, so your value is B. This seems like a difficult problem because it gives you multiple different steps. So first you have to solve, and then you have to try to manipulate the variables. And you can see me in real time trying to figure out which variables to manipulate to try to get A and B. So first, take the instructions that are given first, plug that into the equation, try to simplify it, and then go back and then try to see what you're looking for, which was A plus B. So I went ahead and solved for A and then B, and then I got the answer as B. There are multiple ways to solve this problem. I just want to note this is just something in case you are working through the problem and trying to solve. Of course, you can take the fractions, or sorry, if you could take the equations and you have one variable, you can simplify this in Desmos and try to figure out the answer a little bit more quickly. That could be another way. Also, if you have systems of equations, you can plug that into Desmos and see where the two lines intersect. That's another way to solve, but I wanted to try to figure out what would be the faster way using simple math in case you're short for time.
Let's try to tackle this question together. Take a moment, pause the video, and try to tackle this question yourself. Once completed, unpause the video and see if you got the correct answer. Okay, so this question asks, a circle has a center of 3, comma, -2 and a radius of 10. Which of the following points lies inside the circle, in which they give you 4 points? Here's the thing. For the circle problem listed here, you'll need to know the circle formula, even if you're planning to use Desmos. Now, what I mean by the circle formula, we're not talking about a formula that's provided for you, like area and circumference. So let's tackle this utilizing Desmos and see what we're talking about. So if we were to take a look at the same problem, we would need to note the formula x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. This is a common misconception that you can solve a circle problem with just the formulas either provided or just put it into Desmos. But to put it into Desmos, you need to know how to arrange the problem in such a way that you can manipulate the information given to you into a formula format. So here's the thing. When they're talking about a center of circle, they're talking about h comma k. So make sure you remember that information. And then when they're talking about radius, they're talking about the fact that this is the same thing as r. So in the formula, make sure to remember they have to square it. So if we take the information with the formula that we know, we have parentheses x minus h being positive 3. So it has to remain -3 because that's the formula. So minus h minus the positive 3 square plus y minus, now remember, this is -2, which means that we have to manipulate it to also be -2 directly in here, or in other words, this becomes +2. Either which way, you should know that it becomes +2. Make sure to square this. Now remember, this is the same thing as r squared. R squared means that we have 10 squared because they told us our radius. So you have to make sure that you plug in 100. Here is the trick in this question. Students oftentimes will get the center and realize that one sign is negative and one sign is positive. Making sure that you manipulate it correctly into the formula is important because if you don't, even if you plug it into Desmos, if you don't have the correct format, you're automatically going to get it wrong. So in this screen, I have what I plugged into Desmos. Now I plugged in directly the formula, but I just want to point out this other helpful tip. If you're using Desmos, you will see that I use less than 100 instead of equal to 100. Yes, you can plug in equal to 100 and it will give you a circle. It just will be a circle that will be open. And sometimes it's easier to look at less than to visualize the points that you're going to list in the answer choices and see where it falls inside the circle. So I did that. I put less than 100 and it shaded the inside. Now, with each of the other attributes, I went ahead and plugged in A, B, C, and D. So 10, 5, 12, 4, 8, 7, and -5, -10. Then I went ahead and plugged this straight into Desmos, and then also it helps to click the label button. And the reason why I do that is because it helps indicate the points. So yes, you could just type it in and it will probably, I know it will put the points there, and you could probably solve for the correct answer trying to estimate where it is, but it might be easier just to select labels so you could see it nice and simple when you're trying to look for a quick and fast answer. So off the bat, we know that D would not be correct because it's completely out of the graph. Now, what they do is they have three selective answers that you can see are very similar. There are some that looks like it touches the line, some that's a little bit further in, etc. And if you notice, if you're taking a look at 10, 5, that lies inside that shaded region, whereas a 7 doesn't. So we'll automatically know it's not 12, 4, and you might wish-wash between these two, noting that because you clicked less than 100, you could easily see that your point crosses inside the circle in Desmos, leaving you to have the correct answer A. So I wanted to point out this type of problem because yes, you can get a circle problem, but you will need to note the formula and you will need to know where it lies correctly in the circle. By just placing equal sign in Desmos, yes, you can get the points, but it's going to be hard to distinguish where really if it falls close to the outside of the circle. So making sure it's inside the circle, it's helpful to have less than, just so you can really determine. Yes, you can zoom in to see more in detail as well, but I just wanted to point that out as an option as well. Also making sure to click label so that way you can easily select your answer as well.
Subscribe, like, check playlists for AP Bio and SAT, and hit the link tree below for free and paid resources.